a king and a queen, take to the sword.
While becoming a success in the world of theater is a challenge for any aspiring thespian, Chris Dodd has had to deal with obstacles that to an outsider may seem insurmountable. However, not only has Dodd not been held back by the fact that he is deaf, some theater artistic director Joel Birnbaum says he's actually one of the most talented actors with whom he's ever worked.
I've been teasing him throughout the process because he's truly a quadruple threat. He's up there singing, dancing, acting, and doing sign language, and he's been full of such grace and generosity to teach us all some sign language so we can incorporate all of that into the show and all hopefully become quadruple threats.
Being able to not only overcome a disability, but to be able to use it to one's advantage is a common theme in this show.
Turn the guard!
Dodd has a degree in theater from the University of Alberta and performs deaf theater across the country. But he came to Saskatoon for the rare chance to be in a typical production.
I feel that the collaboration between artists who are deaf and professional theater companies is a wonderful thing, and it gives exposure to everyone involved, and everyone benefits.
Dodd is among the stars of Queen Seraphina and The Land of Vertebraat, this year's production for some theaters' Theater in the Park. The show, written by Adam Pottle, who is deaf, seemed like the perfect work to continue the company's mandate of fostering community and inclusiveness.
We started thinking, well, we've done newcomer stories, we've done origin stories from the Indigenous community. How can we look at inclusion in a totally new way? And so we flipped it to talk about an issue that affects all cultures and really is a culture of its own, disability and ability.
I play in part a deaf citizen who songs as long as he doesn't speak, and but the other citizens in Vertebraat playing those dynamics, and it's an open and accessible community, so everyone's able to communicate freely with each other, and that's really nice to see that played out on stage.
Santa Cruz, California's Haley Brown stars in the title role, a monarch who rules over a land where all citizens are disabled in some form.
I had never seen or heard anything like it. When the idea was pitched to me, it was really hard for me to imagine. And after I read the fairy tale, I was really blown away. I was really excited.
Like Dodd, Brown says the opportunities for actors who have disabilities are still frustratingly few and far between.
There's still a huge problem with mostly non-disabled actors playing disabled characters, which is an issue for a lot of reasons. I'm excited to see that starting to shift in television. I haven't seen as many opportunities in live theater yet for disabled performers.
While those involved don't want to spoil too much about the plot, there is one scene Birnbaum felt compelled to share, more for its instructive nature than as a selling point. In it, Queen Seraphina is offered the chance to be healed and the ability to walk.
And it was so interesting when we were writing this scene together and coming up with the songs for this particular part of the play, to hear Haley talk about how she would make the same decision as Queen Seraphina, which is not to be quote-unquote fixed, because she's proud of her body and who she is. And that to me is truly something we can all learn from.
Especially for folks who don't currently identify with disability, I'm really hoping that they come away from this story with a much more complex idea about what ability and disability even is and what community is. I'm hoping that it really challenges people to question some of their assumptions about disability.
The show features original music written by the creative team, with help from singer-songwriter Josh Palmer.
We go through the story, and then we take scenes and what inspired us from the play, from the story we read, and then we write a song about it, you know. And so all the music is all created by the ensemble. After that, then the musical director comes in and finesses them and cleans them up and puts a bow on them and makes them pretty.
Also aesthetically pleasing is the unique set, which was designed to accommodate the needs of the actors, but again also improved the overall work.
We knew we had to design a set that had ramps, and that evolved in the story. We talk about golden ramps in the land of Vertebraat. So these challenges, these issues of accessibility can actually be opportunities to take us a little further down our path of understanding and experiencing our fellow human beings.
However, the set design means that one of the long-standing traditions of theater in the park is coming to an end. In previous years, the cast and crew would build their sets in a new location every night. But the scope of this year's stage, 64 feet wide, means that work has been contracted out, leaving Knight with some conflicted feelings. On the one hand, he says he enjoyed building the world which his character would inhabit. On the other,
To be honest, don't tell them this now. I am very happy we don't have to set this thing. It's 64 feet wide, man. It's long. It's a big set. And I'm grateful for the team he's brought on to help set it up. You have no idea.
in addition to the set, an effort has been made to ensure the parks themselves are accessible. And there will be interpreters there signing the action to make the play available to all. Brown hopes it will inspire other groups to do the same.
Please think about where your venues are and whether they're accessible. Think about hiring interpreters. Please consider all of your audience, all of your potential audience, and also all of your potential employees. Consider hiring disabled performers for roles that even aren't written as disabled and see what happens.
The admission price for theater in the park hasn't changed in 6 seasons. Not surprisingly, it too is all about making things accessible.
We don't charge any money for the show, but we ask after the show, pay us by meeting someone you've never met before. And that's my favorite part, no matter what year it is the shaking hands and the buzz of the audience after the show, because that shows me that we're building community one hello at a time.
Queen Seraphina and the Land of the Vertebraat plays in parks throughout the city, July 2nd through the 31st. The complete schedule can be found at sometheater.com. In Saskatoon, I'm Simon Hiatt reporting.